hunting season started down here on Long Island yesterday. Where I am, they're putting the fence up, so the workers were there till late. And the only thing I saw was there was a doe behind me in some thick stuff, and I couldn't get a good shot. So I know they're going to be working on that fence again today. So I decided to come out and start tillering this hornbeam that I fire hardened. And I got to tell you, just cutting the string grooves in, I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or my hands, but I'll tell you what, that's really tough wood, all right? Because this is thicker than that little experimental bow I had. This thing's probably, you know, 50, 60 pounds right now. But we got the tree, we're going to put it on, and then we're going to do micro tillering. Okay, we pulled it down a little, and what we have here is a hump in the grain, and it kind of goes down, and it looks like a hinge, and it probably will be a hinge. If you look over here, this is pretty level, this limb. This is going to be another challenging tiller. Okay, when we look at this, we got a nice even bend all around. And when we look at this, we'll do the back so you can just see. When we do the back, you can see right here, okay, a lot of material here. Okay. So we're going to take off material here, see if we can start to get the bend. All right. Okay, obviously the process is going back and forth and back and forth. So I did take a great deal of material off here. I rounded the edges, and I did flex the limbs on this before and you see what we got? We got a nice space and a nice bend here, right? Now when you look at this side here, okay, even though we have a nice curve, more material needs to be taken off the middle to get it to flex the same. Okay, and we'll get back to you. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so from now on, this hump in the top here is going to be the top limb. Okay, from now on. Seems to be favoring that side. Okay, let's see what we got here. Take a look. Okay, coming along, right? And we have to watch whenever you have something weird like this that you don't get that hinge. This was, like I said, this was a pretty bad stave, and I picked it and split it. Let's do the back so you can see we're not distracted by the numbers. Okay, this one I took off some material, and it still needs a little over here. Okay, the other test bow that I did, that was like a kid's bow, a youth bow, I had problems with the grain, you know, the channels and the grain, the backing, splitting and coming apart. Well, this appears to be getting bigger. I don't know if it was just some bark in there and it's still a good backing or not. But something tells me that this bow's going to crack. So, all I could do is round it a little bit more and hope for the best. Okay, since I removed the bark and this is going to be the back of the bow and it's got some bark in it, I figured, okay, it's not down anywhere near growth ring. We're using this as the backing. So I sanded the back a little bit and rounded the edge nice, and hopefully it won't break. Okay, it's time now to see how this flexes, this twisted stave. Let's see how this flexes and how many pounds we're getting. All right, we can see we got to watch. Like I said, that hump is going to turn into a hinge. We got to take more material off of here, so this bends more and more off the end. And it was 42 at 15, so we got a little wiggle room. Okay, remove some material on that mid to outer section to try and get a bend, trying to alleviate some of that, what's going to be a hinge, and trying to get this side to flex a little more. We took it from the middle out a little bit. All right, here we go. I'm going to exercise it a little bit. I really hate when I have those humps in the wood, and even though it looks like it, it may not be a hinge, you know? So actually, if you look at the left side over here, got a nice sort of even bend. And that limb there isn't too bad. I'm hard to tell, you know, it looks level here. And then when you pull it down because of that hump, it looks like that the rise is crooked, but it's not. It's just a hump. You kind of got to like block it out. All right, so what do we got here? What do we got? We got 44 at almost 20 inches. And I want to get this side bending a little more before I put a string on it. And I want to get that outer limb bending a little more before I put the string on it. All right, so hopefully we're getting close to putting a string on this. Once again, this kind of looks level. It's just that hump. Maybe I'll call this bow the big hump. See, as we're getting it pulled back, it's looking better. It still needs a little more off that middle there, right? We're at 20, and we definitely need more out of here. Okay, you might have noticed that this is the long string tillering, and I don't use a real long string. I try to keep it tight as I can. So that's my tight long string. And let's just check it out now, see if we're almost ready. We'll flex it a little bit to put a string on it. And once again, my concern is that hump. So let's see what we got here. .46 at 22, and it's quite a... I'm going to take a little more off that outer edge before I put a string on. A little bit more. I keep taking more and more and more off, but that hinge bothers me. You know, just through using different sandpapers, I don't like this Diablo. It's brittle, it don't bend, it cracks. I like this Blue Pro Sand. It's a little more flexible, and it takes off material really well. Okay, as you can see, the now top limb on Big Hump has to bend a little more. So, see the neighbor's cat? Let me see if you can see her. Trying to play with my pulley there. All right, get out of there, baby. Go eat. So, anyway, let's see what kind of pounds we get here. That's 52 pounds. That actually is pretty good. I'm actually happy with that. Let me do it again. My draw length is around 26 to 26 and a half. Let me just see. All these things were going through my head, like if it's not heavy enough pounds, maybe I'll make it shorter, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. And let's look at the bend, all right? When it's all the way drawn back, it's really not that bad, I guess. All right, may not be the perfect tiller. Needs a little more in the middle. Maybe a little more in the middle here, you know? But the problem is, there's a big gap here and a short gap here. So, if I gotta take material off, it's gotta come from there. Okay, we got 46 at 26. I really wanted a little more. I'm just gonna exercise these limbs a little and then check it out and see if I'm gonna leave it rather than tiller it, because I want more weight. So if I tiller it perfect, I'm gonna have to cut new string grooves and shorten it and start over again. And with that hinge, it's a pain in the neck. I'll be taking off more material, tillering it again. So let me see. Just live with the hump, because it's a hump and not really a hinge. I gotta get that it's a hinge out of my mind. All right, it's more or less a hump. So, okay, this is what I came up with. It's got a little bit more positive tiller up top, a little more space up top than the bottom. But with this hump, okay, with this hump, it was really tough. All right? You know what I mean? Let's check out, let's see what it looks like from a distance. I'll have to look at this myself. later, but let's see. Okay, so just going to check the poundage one more time. After pulling it back and checking it several times, the hump is the top limb, okay, and it's got a little positive tiller to it, and that's how I shaped it. So I'm going to just flex it a little bit, and then we're going to go down to my 26 or so inch draw length and see what it says. And it's 45 pounds, 45 and a half pounds. I really want a little more, and I'm undecided if I should cut new grooves and make it shorter. Okay, I want a little more weight. Kind of knew I was going to do it, so I made an inch shorter. I put grooves. Okay, it's going to be, instead of a 66, it's a 64 tip to tip, 62 knock to knock. All right, I'm going to lop these off and find the string. Okay, big hump is done. Instead of it being 66 tip to tip, it's 64 tip to tip. So that would be 62 knock to knock to increase some weight. And as far as the tillering, I got it. I went over it, got it. It's like an 1/8, almost an 1/8 positive on the top. Okay, and we're going to just test the weight. Okay, let's see what weight big hump is at my 26. It's like 26 and a half. Could exercise a little bit. Yeah, I know that limb should go a little bit more, but let's see what the weight is first. Okay, we got 51, so I can work that a little bit. I can work that limb a little bit. I got a little wiggle room here. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit off here. Take a little bit right here. Okay, 51 at 26, so I can take a little bit off. Back and forth, back and forth. Big hump is almost done though. Okay, I took a little bit off to make it bend a little bit, and still got a little positive tiller, which is good. Up front, the shorter string. Let's see what it is. I exercised it, so it's okay to go down. 50 pounds. It's 50 pounds at 26. Well, let me just see how it feels to pull and how profile looks. See if I can shoot steady with it, or else I'm going to take off like 2 more pounds. Let's see. Yeah, I got that. Yep. I think we're going to leave it and shoot it in. Let's go shoot it. Got to clean up the mess first, then we're going to go shoot it. Okay, we're outside now with my fire hardened Hornbeam longbow. That was 66, that I made 64 just a little while ago. And the name of this bow is Big Hump, because there's a big hump here and it was a hump to tiller. Okay, so we're going to set up and we're going to do some shooting. And that deer target, that's a broadhead deer target down there. I don't let anybody shoot it but me, my son. And it's at 15 yards, so I'm going to set up and we're going to shoot. Okay, here we are at 15 yards. I'm going to try and be that shooting machine. I got to focus and really hold it, because it's a little heavier than my other bow. Just a little bit, a couple of pounds. Let's see how we do. Right there, right there. Try to be that shooting machine, hand against your face, bow hand solid, right there. Now we're going to go move down to 10. I'm going to stop it because I only have the 1 arrow. Okay, at 10 yards, I always look down the arrow, and I put the point right on the deer. So let's see how this works out. Yeah, right there, right there. All right, so I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, it's a little more weight. I got to really be steady in the hand to shoot it. And that's the end of this video. Okay? my fire hardened Hop Hornbeam longbow that I shortened a little bit, named Big Hump. Okay, I'm sure I'll get some feedback from my friends about Big Hump. I have a lot of friends that are big humps too. All right, watch my other videos on Barebow Joe, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.